welcome back. Listen, today we are absolutely changing the game when it comes to interacting with AI. Have you ever felt totally frustrated by a language model hallucinating some generic 14th century marketing strategy for your modern SaaS product? Well, you are in the right place. In this explainer, we are completely shifting our mindset. We're moving away from just blindly guessing at AI prompts and stepping into rigorous, disciplined engineering. We are diving into an incredible source called The Logic of Excellence, a framework for prompt engineering. And honestly, it's going to revolutionize how you work.
I want to start right here because this idea sets the stage perfectly. Excellence in prompting isn't about finding magic words. It is so incredibly easy to fall into the trap of thinking there's some secret phrase or like a cheat code that magically unlocks the perfect response. But the truth from our source material is loud and clear. Prompting is a highly disciplined craft. It is not a mystical search for magic words, it's about structured, intentional communication.
Okay, let's dive into the structural roadmap for today's masterclass. We'll kick things off with 1. The mindset shift. Then we'll build 2. Tier 1, the foundation, before moving into 3. Tier 2, the context scaffold. After that, we'll hit 4. Tier 3, cognitive architecture, and wrap the whole thing up with 5. The ultimate checklist.
Section 1. The mindset shift. If we actually want better outputs from these models, we have got to completely reframe our entire approach.
Stop writing prompts. Start programming a logic engine with natural language. Seriously, this is the core philosophy you need to internalize today. An excellent prompt isn't just a question, it's actually a precise specification document. Your goal isn't to make some vague suggestion to the AI, your goal is to absolutely maximize the signal-to-noise ratio. You are literally programming a logic engine, but instead of using Python or C++, you're using natural language. And the clearer your instructions are, the better that logic engine is going to run.
This brilliantly illustrates the overarching chain of logic we must follow to minimize the model's interpretive workload. Think about it. 1. Define the agent. 2. Establish intent. 3. Impose constraints. 4. Scaffold the context. And 5. Specify the format. If you leave things open to interpretation, the model is just going to guess. And spoiler alert, it usually guesses wrong. By walking through these exact steps, you leave absolutely nothing to chance.
Moving right along to Section 2. Tier 1, the foundation. These are your non-negotiables in every single prompt you write.
Let's quickly look at what skipping these core foundational elements actually costs you. Defining your agent? That prevents those awful generic Wikipedia-style answers. Stating the intent and goal keeps the model from just completely losing the plot. Setting firm constraints cuts out all the bloat and random tangents. And finally, dictating the output format, that saves you from digging through unparsable walls of text. Look, if you skip even one of these, you are instantly handing control right back to the machine.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast when we talk about the agent element. Saying something weak like act as a marketing expert, well, you're going to get a perfectly generic response. But look at the excellent version. You are a bootstrapped B2B SaaS CMO obsessed with CAC payback period. Wow, you are giving the AI a highly specific lens, a distinct personality, and a real gritty expertise to channel. It vastly outperforms a basic role assignment every single time.
We see the exact same principle play out with intent. Write a sales email is just, well, it's just the what. The model will try its best to sound eloquent, but it will completely miss the mark on effectiveness. The excellent prompt separates the why from the what. By clearly stating the goal, a 15-minute call, and a strategic intent, highlighting a painful market shift to re-engage cold leads, you stop the model from just optimizing for pretty words and force it to optimize for your actual tangible objective.
Which brings us to constraints. Guardrails are not limitations. They are the crucible of creative, targeted output. Man, I absolutely love how our source phrases that. It's so true. When you deliberately eliminate degrees of freedom, like strictly capping the word count, demanding an 8th grade reading level, or literally forbidding buzzwords like revolutionary, you actually force the model into creative problem solving. It simply cannot fall back on its default fluffy habits.
And wrapping up Tier 1, we have output format. You've got to remember, the model's native language is structure. Please, don't just give it a blank page to paint on. Give it a strict schema to fill. Instructing it to return a JSON object with very specific keys like headline, 3_bullet summary, and risk score prevents massive headaches and extra work for you later. It gives you output you can actually use immediately.
So, what did this all mean once you've nailed those 4 foundational pillars? You've got the basics down, sure, but we want excellence here. Which raises a huge question.
How do you actually move from a simple, well-structured request to a true collaboration with the AI? Section 3. Tier 2. The Context Scaffold. This is exactly where we go from good to truly excellent, by providing raw building materials.
So, the crucial point is you have to supply the adjacent possible. Think of it like a human expert. An LLM absolutely thrives when given unique, granular data to remix. Don't just ask for generic ideas. Feed it the raw realities of your situation. Tell it, hey, our Q3 survey showed a 34% drop in satisfaction, and our main competitor just launched a simpler version. Boom! Now the model has actual friction and highly specific context to work with to generate something genuinely valuable.
Another massive lever here is few-shot prompting. By providing a pattern of an input leading to your ideal output, you calibrate the model's tone and depth faster than any description ever could. But the real master move? Show the model a failure mode. Give it a bad draft, explain exactly why it fails, and command the model to fix those specific flaws in its own output.
Section 4. Tier 3. Cognitive Architecture. We're at the climax of the explainer here, aimed squarely at mastering those complex, non-trivial tasks. Because for complex tasks, relying on a single prompt is basically a recipe for absolute mediocrity. Look, you wouldn't ask an architect to just build a house without giving them blueprints, right? You have to logically decompose the task. You literally architect a process within the prompt itself, instructing the model to tackle the problem step by step.
Okay, and here is the master technique for this tier, the invisible cognitive scaffold. This means explicitly commanding the model to use its hidden reasoning buffer before it even attempts to deliver your final answer. You are making the model show its deep analytical work within its own logic first. By forcing it to think out loud, essentially, before generating the final deliverable, the quality skyrockets. It becomes genuinely excellent.
Section 5. The Ultimate Checklist. This is your rapid-fire audit to run through before you ever hit submit again.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our 5-point audit. Ask yourself, 1. Do you have an agentic lens? 2. What about outcome polarization? Did you clearly define success versus failure? 3. Is your constraint crucible in place to force creativity? 4. Have you provided data grounding for it to remix? And 5. Have you used cognitive decomposition for those complex tasks? Applying the systems thinking approach guarantees incredible clarity and control.
Are you asking an oracle for a prophecy? Or are you engineering a logic engine? I want to leave you with that provocative thought. Next time you open a chat window, ask yourself that exact question. Remember, true mastery isn't about finding a magic formula. It's a mindset shift. Better specifications lead to exceptional results. Get out there, stop just writing prompts, and start engineering excellence.